Recommended tools: circlip pliers, metric spanners, 17mm, 13mm, 10mm, Allen key drivers, 6mm, 5mm, 3mm, 2.5mm. Disassembly: wheels can be removed to make it easier to access. 1. A. Remove the Nassau panel to make it easier to access. B. Remove the securing nut from the bottom of the steering column. C. Remove the steering wheel and boss as one unit. D. Remove the original steering column support by removing the nut and bolt and sliding it off. Put the nut and bolt aside to use in assembly step 4. 2. Loosen and slide down the steering column collar, if applicable. 3. Slide the column out of the lower bearing. 4. Remove the circlip and lower bearing. On some model carts, this happens from the bottom. Assembly: the dynamic Kart steering system comes as a complete unit. During installation, do not disassemble it. 1. Apply bearing grease to the new lower bearing, install it, and secure it with the original circlip. Note: 8mm shafts use small shoulder bolts and small bearings, and 10mm shafts use larger ones. 2. Slide the shoulder bolt through the bearing, then bring the steering column in and screw them together and tighten firmly. 3. Tighten the locking grub screw into the bottom of the shoulder bolt with a drop of thread lock. You may need to remove the floor tray to complete this task. Check the floor clearance. A small dent can be made to get the correct clearance, or you can drill a clearance hole. Installation difficulty: multiple steering wheel fitment can deform the top of the steering column. Do not force the unit on. Instead, squeeze the column back to round or use a light file until the unit slips over with minimal resistance. 4. Slide the dynamic Kart steering head unit over the column and lightly fasten with the nut and bolt removed earlier. If required, use the supplied reducer sleeve to take up the slack from the 8mm to 6mm bolt size. 5. Reinstall the steering wheel and boss assembly. 6. Place the cart on the ground and seat the driver in the cart. 7. Ensure that the inner sleeve of the head unit is in the down position. Then hold the steering wheel straight and apply a light amount of pressure in the downward position. 8. Firmly tighten the top and bottom grub screws that are parallel to each other first. They should be facing forward. 9. The next 3 grub screws can be fastened in any order. Firmly tighten the nut and bolt from step 4. 11. If applicable, slide the original collar up to the unit and fasten it. 12. Reinstall the Nassau panel. Adjustment in operation: by stacking as little or as many spacers provided in between the tie rod and stub axle topside. You will be adjusting the amount of toe movement in millimeters you get when moving the steering wheel in and out. The typical range of movement is 4 millimeters a side. In some cases, it may be necessary to move the inner tie rods to the lowest position on the steering column spade. Different resistance levels can be achieved in the head unit by loosening the lock nut and screwing the adjuster in or out. Note: never screw the adjuster in all the way. Make sure it is out 1/4 turn from the bottom. Failure to do so will result in damage to the inner sleeve and/or adjuster screw. Recommended lubricants: Inox MX3, Inox MX4, lightweight machine oil, WD-40 multi-purpose. Lubricate the head unit before a day of racing or testing, or more frequently if desired. Regularly apply some spray grease or similar to the lower bearing and disassemble the unit for thorough cleaning and lubricating.